Hey everybody, back again for another Sunday with the Sheriff. We'll give it just a couple of minutes, see who all's going to check on tonight, and then we've got a few things to go over that we've been up to for the last 2 weeks since I last talked to you. So we'll give it just a minute and see who all's coming on. Let's see. Hope everyone's had a good 2 weeks since the last time I talked to you. We're going to go over about the primary coming up, a couple things that's been going on that we've been up to, a few things we've got coming up, and have a question to go over. But we'll give it just a second and see who all's going to come on. I see several people signing on now, so we'll give it just a minute. Looks like we've still got some people signing on, so I'll give it about one more minute and then we'll get started. I don't want to get too deep into it and everyone catch in the middle, so we'll give it another minute. While we're waiting, been really busy the last 2 weeks. As everybody knows, the primary's coming up. Early voting starts in just a few more weeks, so had something going on every day. Looks like as some people are signing on, I'll slowly get into what I want to cover tonight. First of all, I'll go ahead and say this, and I'll say it at the end. Just a reminder, the primary is starting April 28th is when early voting starts for the primary. That runs through May the 14th, and the actual primary date is May the 17th. I've been told you can go ahead and do mail-in. You can sign up for mail-in ballots. But officially, early voting starts April 28th through May the 14th, and the actual primary is May the 17th. And I would appreciate your support in that. Again, if you're registered either unaffiliated or Democrat, you can vote in the Democrat primary for me. If you're registered Republican, switch to unaffiliated so you can vote for me in the primary. On another side note, or actually one of the things I want to go over, so we ordered 1,000 signs to begin with. They're out. So we've all been really busy, and a special thank you to all the people who've gone above and beyond to help us go ahead and get the signs out. Love you to death, love you, mean it. That has helped me out tremendously. I've done a few days getting up at 3 in the morning and getting them out before the traffic got heavy, so I didn't get run over out there, and so I could go ahead and get them out. But if you had already put on that you wanted one, you haven't received it yet, I have it put aside, so don't fear. Just because I say they're out, they're all out, or I have a few out here that are going to a couple more people, but you are accounted for. I've got you on my list. So, but that's probably going to be all the signs we get for primary. After the primary, we'll order at least another 1,000, 2,000. But right now, thanks to the help of so many good friends and people on the committee, we've gotten them out. So, and you should see them all over. They're in downtown Raleigh. We're going to put out a few. I'm getting up early in the morning and finish the last round of downtown Raleigh. But there should be on the west side. There's some going up on the south side tonight. And actually right now, up on the north side, we try to catch a lot of the overpasses and heavy traffic areas so everyone will see them. I'm proud of the signs. Josh Tilton helped develop them and put them out there, and I think they look really good. We on a note about the signs as well. We have one very large sign that you'll be able to see soon from I-87 264. In addition to that, I have four 4x5 hard signs that'll be mounted. If you want one, if you have private property or know someone with private property in a high traffic area, we'd love to go ahead and get those out. I got 4 in hopes of putting one on each side of the county, but I don't mind putting 2 on one side or whatever if it's a high traffic area. But if you'll respond here or put it on their website, joecoley.com, if you have a place for a nice 4x5 sign that we can put up, I'd be very appreciative, and we'll get them up in some high traffic areas to help us get the word out. So looks like most everybody's signing on good. So we'll go ahead and get into the meat of it. I'll go back over the signs just real quick at the end and the primary dates. It's been a busy 2 weeks since the last time I talked to you. Again, early voting starts April the 28th, so everybody's in the short rows, in the sprint, whatever you want to call it. So we've been working really, really hard. There's not a day goes by that I don't have something to do with the campaign. And with working a full-time job and campaigning full-time, it keeps me pretty busy. Just a few of the things we've done in the last couple weeks. We went to the North Carolina State University Club on March 23rd for the LGBT Chamber of Commerce meeting. It was really good. There was a lot of people from City of Raleigh government, Wake County government. It was a great event. Food was delicious. Had a really good time. Able to network some more, helping get the word out. I did a Chai Buzz podcast March the 26th. Had a great time, and there was actually a 10th grader from Enloe High School who asked some very, very good questions. Some of the best questions I've had asked in this whole campaigning, to be honest with you. But I could tell they were personal to him and his peers. The Chai Buzz podcast was awesome. We had a great time. They posted it to their site on Facebook, and I've seen that it's going around a lot. Would love to do any podcast. Anyone you know that does podcasts, I'd love to do them. But and I'm not going to say his name because he's a young man, but the 10th grader who had the questions did an outstanding job, and so we really appreciated that. And I like these grassroots things and events where I'm able to speak directly to people and answer their questions directly. That's just awesome to me. I really enjoy it. On March 27th, for the Gurudwara event at the Sikh temple, we were over there, met a lot of great people that were super, super nice to us. They're helping us spread the word, but I can't stress enough how hospitable and nice they were to us. Made us feel very, very at home and like friends, and we made some good friends. So we had a really good time with that. On March the 30th, I was invited to speak with the Libertarian Party at their event. I think they meet every Wednesday, but we had a good time. Another person-to-person conversation over dinner. Had a great time. It was good to see another perspective too. Their ideas are more middle of the road in some ways than the Democrat or Republican sides, and so their questions were different than some of the others I've been getting from more party lined. But we had a really good time there. Met some new people, talked to some people we've known, some friends out there, but had a great time there. That was on last Wednesday. Last Thursday on the 31st, myself and I think it was 6 other candidates, I believe, for sheriff. It was a nonpartisan event. It was hosted by El Pueblo, some other Hispanic groups, and the North Carolina Asian Americans Together group. I think we have it posted. If we don't, I'll make sure it gets posted on there tonight. It was a really good event. They had some questions about the 287G program, immigration issues, the faith ID, and just day-to-day experiences between Hispanic people of the Hispanic community and law enforcement, and what we plan to do and what we had in mind. So that was a really good event as well. We had a great time. We were there about 2 hours. And from what I understand, they're going to have some other events that they're inviting us to. Maybe not as large as that, but they did a great job putting on the event that night. And it was good to see some of the other candidates. As much as we're all out, we don't get a chance to talk too much because we're all going in our own separate ways. So it's good sometimes to meet up them, see them again, and talk a little bit on the side, and keeping everything friendly and everything. So it's great to get to run into them once in a while because we don't get to see each other that much. Yesterday, we did the Pride Life Expo at the McKimmon Center at NC State. I think they said they estimated 1,500 people. I'd say there was at least 1,000 that came through the part where we were. Met all sorts of people from typically in Wake County area. I met a few that might have been, I think they told me like Durham, maybe a little bit further out, but for the most part, Wake County. There were vendors there, everything from realty companies, insurance companies. Actually, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, had a table there. North Carolina State Capitol Police had a table there. Raleigh PD, Durham PD, Wake EMS. Again, there were some city leaders and some of the towns around, from town governments. County officials were there. We had a great time, had a ball. They actually fed us lunch and it was delicious. But we were able to network, talk to a lot of different people from all walks of life. I can't say enough about how much I enjoy that part. You know, when I set up at the North Carolina State Fair, I was there every day, open to close. I don't know how many thousand people I talked to, how many pens I gave away, and all that. But I enjoy talking to small groups and individuals because I really feel like by the time we walk away from each other, I've pretty much answered all their questions. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever, however they feel about it, at least I was able to answer their questions, and they had a good understanding of where I stand and what I want to do with Wake County and the Wake County Sheriff's Office. So events like that are just awesome. It really reminded me of when I was at the fair. You would get large groups to come up, and then you get individuals and small groups. And of course, we were handing out all of our literature, yard signs, pens, things like that. But I really enjoyed talking on a one-on-one basis. And I found the further this campaign has come along, I can be out in all sorts of places, whether I'm working or not. And I'll have individuals that come up and out of the blue, they'll start asking questions that are things that are very important to them. And I'm learning some things sometimes talking to people that I hadn't really thought about would be an issue with some folks or a concern. So that's what I really like. And I'm able to see more of what we really want to do and how we can better serve the community once we get up there. I think I had several good conversations yesterday. One of the ones that sticks out most to me was right at the end, and I had a man and a lady that walked up, and they were basically asking me my definition of community policing. I know a lot of agencies and a lot of people have their own definition of it, but I explained my definition of community policing and how I wanted to see it done, and it's really simple. There's more to community policing than flooding a community with officers, deputies, what have you. Community policing, to me, a lot of it is basically when you have some downtime, you drive through neighborhoods. If you see one cutting the grass or in the yard, you stop. You talk to them. You give them your business card. Tell them, if you ever need anything, give me a call. If you ever have any questions about anything, give me a call. Stopping into the convenience stores. Just go into a convenience store. I used to do it in the mornings. I had one in particular I usually went to, one of two, and I would try to hit them both pretty regularly, but that's where I fueled up my patrol car every morning or every evening when I started my shift, and I would just pour a cup of coffee and stand over there, and I got to meet the local postman. I got to meet, a lot of the town firemen, of course, people who worked in the area, lived in the area, going back and forth to work. I learned a lot about the areas that I was patrolling. Good, bad, and otherwise. We got some good arrests out of it from like drug dealers and such. We found out about some domestic violence issues. We found out about some young people who needed attention or needed help. To me, that's more community policing than some of the other things that go on. Now, don't get me wrong, the events that involve the community, whether it's picnics, things like that, that's great. But I also think that the day-to-day stuff is what people want to see and what they like to see. And I would sit in that convenience store sometimes, and I may see the same person every morning for 6 months, and they might just nod or say good morning or something, and then that one time when they look at you, there's something on their mind, and they come and they ask you a question and they need some help with something, whether it's something major or something simple. But typically if someone asks a law enforcement officer a question, it's important to them, no matter how small or big the issue may seem to someone else. So to me, that's a big part of community policing. Another thing we used to do sometimes was go to the churches and just pull in the parking lot and sort of step out of the car. And as people were coming in and out of church, they would approach you. We mostly did it so that they felt safe, because especially at the time when you had some shootings in the churches. But as people came in and out of the church, they got to where they would start to come over and start talking to you and sort of befriend you. And they kind of knew they had an individual. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable calling 911 or calling the agency for something, But if they have an individual that they can call, we would give them our card with our county cell phone number, or they could just call dispatch and ask for us specifically. But I think a lot of times people feel more comfortable like that. They feel like they have a friend there, someone they can count on, they can trust, and to me, that's true community policing. So, and don't get me wrong, we had a lot of other great questions. I had a lot of good questions and talked to a lot of people, but that was one right at the end that sort of stuck out in my mind, and I think we kind of connected on that and agreed on that. But anyway, so we did the Pride Life Expo. We were there from, I think it was actually from 9 to 3. We got there earlier to set up, and they did an outstanding job in the McKimmon Center. I mean, everything looked really nice. They went above and beyond. They had volunteers there to help you set up. Volunteers go around, answer any questions. It was just outstanding. All the stuff I've been to in the last 2 weeks has just been above and beyond, over the top. People are doing an awesome job. And with COVID going on so long and not a lot of in-person things going on, mostly Zoom, people are excited to be able to do some in-person things and get to talk to us face-to-face and, fist bump, shake hands, whatever people feel comfortable with. But you can tell people are really enjoying getting to hear from all the candidates straight from our mouth how we feel about things. And it makes it more personal when you can do it in person. So I'm glad a lot of that is eased off and we can get out and do this part. Because social media is great, don't get me wrong. And we're using social media the best of my ability and a couple others' abilities who know a lot more about it than I do. But to me, there's nothing like face-to-face and when you can look in my eyes and hear my response to your question, I think that's just so much more, and it's so much more personal. And I just think that in conjunction with social media is how to do it. I don't think you can do one or the other, but especially if you simply do TV commercials, social media, things like that. You've got to be out there. So that's why we've tried really hard to be out there at the fair, anything else that's going on that I see going on in the municipalities and towns out here. I try to be involved and go to all of them that I can. Because I get a big kick out of it too. I really enjoy it. And I love meeting new people and learning new things. As you can tell, I love to talk. So it's easier to do that in person. And this has just been an awesome experience all the way around. But anyway, so that's what we've been up to the last 2 weeks. Obviously, a lot of other stuff too, but those are some of the main events that I've been to and that we've been to and getting to meet people and stuff. And every chance we've had, we've been running around putting up yard signs and such. So just a few things that are coming up in the next 2 weeks between now and the next time we speak. We have a meet and greet fundraiser going on in Oakwood down in Raleigh. So some friends of ours are throwing a fundraiser meet and greet for us. So we're really excited about that. That's going to be on the 14th. On the 16th, I just got word from a good friend of mine who lives not far from me over here. He has called a bunch of his friends and he's putting together something for April the 16th, basically a meet and greet, inviting a bunch of his friends to his home. And so we're really excited about that. And I love it when people invite us to a community center or their home. It makes it a lot more personable and a lot more laid back and relaxed. And everyone just seems to really enjoy it, and I especially enjoy doing those. On April the 20th, we're doing another meet and greet fundraiser at someone's house in Oakwood. So, I'm sorry, in 5 Points. On the 20th, we're doing one in 5 Points. I'm going to have to be really good on that one because there's also an online Democrat Party event that I need to be a part of. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth, but we can do it. And so we've got that one coming up. If we have one coming up, and it's going to be after the next one, but in Cary, we're actually going to have a very large one at the park in Cary under one of the shelters on April the 28th. But I'll tell you more about that one the next Sunday with the sheriff. So I've reached out and asked for volunteers for different things, and we've had some volunteers respond and help us, and we've got some more that are coming in. And this goes out to everyone out there, but there are going to be 8 polls for the primary spread out across the county. I would love to have 2 volunteers at each poll. Now, I have the campaign committee, but everyone has families, everyone has jobs, so and that's going to be on a Tuesday. or actually May 17th, Tuesday, is the actual primary, but leading up for early voting and everything. And we're talking about several days there, and I could really use some help. At least one person, maybe two at each poll throughout that. I'm going to be spreading myself on actual primary election day on May the 17th. I'll be at the one in Knightdale. That's the one closest to my house. And being from Knightdale, I want to be there. So I'll be at that one on May the 17th. But April the 28th through May the 14th, there's 8 polls. So that would be 8 people a day minimum. And all I want is really someone to be at each poll to hand out our literature. I'm not doing the pre-signed ballot thing. I just want them to hand out our actual handout. So people, while they're standing in those lines, they can find out a little bit about me, where I stand and what I want to do, and what my platform is, what my mission statement is, and what my core values are. So I would love if anyone could do that. I know a lot of those are weekdays, so it's going to be hard, but we can't put it all on our campaign committee. So if anyone would like to volunteer to do that, that would be an awesome thing. That would really help me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. So you can either put it on here, you can DM me on Facebook here, or you can go to joecoley.com and sign up on the volunteer section, and you can put in their primary polls. But we're getting into short roads, like I said earlier. It's every day wide open from here out, but that would be a tremendous help because I can't be at 8 at one time. So anyone that would be willing to, if you could just give me a day here and there, April 28th through May the 14th, I would greatly appreciate it. This one's going to be short tonight. Typically they go kind of long. This one's going to be kind of short. We only got one question submitted for tonight. I like to think that's because I'm doing such a great job of going out in the community and answering people's questions face to face. So I'll go ahead with the one question. It's short and sweet, but I really like it. What do you consider your number one job to be? You take an oath to many things that you're going to do: protect life and property, uphold the Constitution of both the state and the United States. To me, my number one job as sheriff, and everywhere I'm speaking and all the decisions I've made on all the issues that I'm talking about, but to me as sheriff, my number one job is public safety. At the end of the day, I said this the other night at the El Pueblo event. We were talking about 287G and some other things, and I told him, and I really mean it. I've said it before. At the end of every day, as sheriff of Wake County, when I lay my head down to go to sleep, I have to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I did everything humanly possible I could do to keep the citizens of this county safe. I already do that as an officer, but I feel like it would be even more so as the sheriff, because it's a huge responsibility, the public safety for 1.2 million people. And all my decisions will be based on knowing at the end of every night I've done all I could possibly do. Some different ways for the public safety. Obviously, we've got to get more deputies on the road. We have to get more detention officers in the jail. That's public and officer safety issues. But we've also got to have relationships with all the municipalities, towns in Wake County. The sheriff's office, yes, it's the largest agency in the county as far as law enforcement, but no one agency can do it all themselves. It's 857 square miles, 1.2 million people, and they're moving here from all over the world. So I want to build those relationships, and that's one of the reasons I've already started going and meeting with all the chiefs in the area. I've reached out to all of them. I've talked to over half. I've got a couple more coming up this week. And when I'm talking to them, it's to let them know that I want to build those relationships. We've got to do it together. There's no one agency that's a big brother to the other anymore or anything like that. We all have to work together. If we all work together and we're on the same page, that's how we achieve public safety. The best training possible for the deputies. A lot of people, whenever there's an event involving law enforcement, the first thing you typically hear is training. We've got to improve training. And I agree 100%. But we also have to hire the right people that will take advantage of that training. It'll soak in. They'll use it on a day-to-day basis. They won't just come in there, take the training, take the written test, and go on about their regulars. We've got to have the right people. If you're going to have the right people, we have to treat them right. I've said in this before, everyone wants to be appreciated for their job. Everyone wants to be backed by their CEO, boss, however what you want to call it, their sheriff, their chief. That goes even further in law enforcement, especially in these times, the way things are today, and the portrayal or however you want to put it of law enforcement. So we've got to have the right people. We have to give them the right training. We have to back them. We have to go above and beyond to make sure they have the tools, the training, and everything they need to do their job. And if we do all that, they're going to do their job, whether they're a detention officer, a deputy, a civilian employee there at the sheriff's office. That's how you achieve public safety. That's a big part of it. People get into law enforcement, they want to do their job. They're in it for a reason. They're not doing it for the money or anything else. They're doing it because they're called to serve, and they want to help people, and they want to take care of people, and they want to provide that public safety. So my job as sheriff is give them all the tools they need and the backing they need so that they can provide that public safety. You know, by the time you work with all the agencies that are in this county, fire departments, EMS, and everyone, we should all work together. That's how you achieve public safety, and you're doing it the right way. So, but that was only one question that I got this time. Like I said, I must be doing a good job out there answering questions face to face. We got the one. Again, I said in the beginning, I've noticed a few more people have signed on, and I apologize if I've noticed sometimes afterwards that people have said, "Hey Joe," and things like that. To be honest with you, I can just see the little things coming up saying someone signed on. I can't read that far to tell who it is or what you're saying. Shane's off to the side though, so if a question comes in, he would let me know. Matter of fact, before we go any further,
what will you do about corruption?
What will I do about corruption? It's an easy question. It won't be tolerated. The only reason I hesitate is specifically, I mean, if we're talking about a deputy or a detention officer being involved in corruption, won't be tolerated. Depending on what it is, if a law is broken, they'll be, subject just like anyone else to the criminal justice process, arrest, whatever the case may be. If it's not a law broken and it's corruption within the agency, at least there would be termination. I don't. Law enforcement is here to help people. Law enforcement is here. We're better than that. We're not involved in corruption. No one hates a bad cop worse than a cop. So if it's corruption as far as any employee of the Wake County Sheriff's Office, it won't be tolerated. It'll be dealt with accordingly. If what you're asking is another form of corruption, if you can kind of let me know a little more specific what you mean, if that didn't answer your question, in other words, but no, that wouldn't be tolerated by any employee of the Sheriff's Office, no matter what the rank, division, or what have you. And as always, after this is over with, we post it to Facebook. If you do have a question, put it on here, because what I always do is about an hour before we come on here, I go back and make sure if anyone has asked a question that I'll cover it. So I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, then please let me know exactly, a little more what you meant and more specific and everything, and I will definitely answer it. Any other questions to me?
No, sir.
All right. So, like I said, I'm not going to take up too much of your time this Sunday. Again, thank you so much for coming in for the Sunday for a Sheriff. I'm actually going to go deliver the last of some of the signs when we get off here tonight. Again, the primary dates, early voting is April 28th through May the 14th. I really need some help with that. If anyone would like to volunteer to be at the polling places, May 17th is the actual primary date. I'm going to be primarily at the one up here in Nightville. That's always a big location in this home, so I'll be at that one. If you weren't here in the beginning, so the signs are out. If you haven't gotten yours and you had put on here that you wanted one, don't worry. I've got it to the side. We put out all the ones on the highway for the most part. I think tonight and tomorrow. I know I'm getting up at 3 in the morning and put some down through Newbern Avenue into the edge of downtown tomorrow morning. So by this time tomorrow night, pretty much everything should be out except for a few that I've got to drop off at someone's yard or whatever. Again, everyone that helped, some people, campaign committee members helped, but we also had people that the last time when I asked for help, that they signed up on here or reached out to me and they came and got some signs and put them out. So again, thank you so much to everybody that helped us get them out, because that would have been a big job for me to do by myself, putting out 1,000 signs. So everyone, whether you're on the committee or not, everyone that helped, thank you so much. Look like something, is that another question that came in down there? Okay. All right, everybody. Well, 2 weeks from today, Sunday after next, we'll be back. By that time, we'll have several other events that we've done that I'll be talking about and how they went. Again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming in on these Sundays and hearing what I've got to say. If you have any questions about anything at all, please post them on here and I'll go over it next time. Hope to see you all out there. We've got a lot of things going on. If you have a community center or you want me to come to your home and speak to you and your neighbors or anything, reach out. The calendar's sort of filling up between now and then, so go ahead and do it, and I'll be glad to do it and come out and speak to everyone. And again, thank you very much for coming in. Y'all stay safe out there. God bless. Thank you.